Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing. Hi. Yes.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now it's working. Testing. Why is it delayed so much?
Why is it delayed?
Yeah.
I think it's the Wi-Fi.
See? No, but if delayed, then means that your voice and your screen will be different.
No, it's the same. Just
Okay.
the viewer will receive the info late, but
Okay.
it's still the same. Let me close this one first.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah, maybe about 20 minutes can, if you go slow, if you go fast, 10 minutes. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our live market recap, and tonight's session is going to be packed. We've got big moves, heavy volatility, and some of the most influential tech stocks in the world showing real weakness. Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Meta, these giants have all taken hits recently, and the big question everyone is asking is this a dip to buy or the start of something bigger? My mission tonight is to break it all down for you, the sentiment, the technicals, the momentum, and the clues hiding under the surface of that could reveal where the market is heading next. Okay, we start with the market review. You can see on your trading view platforms. All right, guys, let's talk about what's been happening in the overall market, because the vibe out there has definitely changed. So over the past few sessions, the major indices, the S&P, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, they all have been under pressure. We've seen several days of red in a row, and that's mainly because of investors are starting to get a little cautious again. Rate cut hopes have cooled off, interest rates are still elevated, and tech has been looking very tired lately. And you all know how it goes. When mega cap tech shows down, the whole market feels it. These companies have such huge weights in the indices that even a small pullback from them can drag everything lower. We have also got this mix of things hitting at the same time. Concerns about the AI bubble. People question if valuations got too stretched, and then everyone's watching Nvidia's upcoming earnings like it's the season final of a show. So the energy in the market right now is kind of tense, kind of defensive. Here is something interesting. The S&P and the Nasdaq just slipped below their 50-day moving average, which we haven't seen in a while. That's usually a sign the momentum is shifting a bit, and traders start paying extra attention when that happens. But then this is important. Earnings overall have still been pretty strong. Companies are putting up real numbers, so it's not doom and gloom. It's more like the market is taking a breath after running hard for months. So yeah, that's where we are at. A little bit uncertainty, a little bit cooling off, a little bit wait and see. All right, with that in mind, let's zoom into the charts and see what's really going on under the surface. Shall we start with Nvidia? Please type See, all right, I see most of you chose number 1, so let's start with NVIDIA. Recently, NVIDIA has been under pressure, and the main concern in the market right now is whether AI-related demand can maintain the same level of acceleration we saw earlier this year. Some major data center customers have been adjusting or moderating their short-term orders, and because of expectations for NVIDIA are extremely high, any indications of softer demand trends to weigh on the stock. From a technical perspective, the chart shows that NVIDIA has lost some upward momentums, and the price has moved below its short-term moving average, and buyers have been able to push it back above the previous breakout zones. This doesn't necessarily confirm a trend reversal, but it does suggest that the stock is entering a period of consolidation after several months of strong performance. All right, let's get your read on it. If you expect NVIDIA to recover from here, type 1. If you believe the price may continue moving lower, type 2. So type 1 for upward, type 2 for downward. Let's see, what do you guys think about? I can see many of you typing 1, clearly a lot of optimism about NVIDIA's potential recovery, and here are the key levels I'm watching. Basically, if NVIDIA can break above the recent lower higher 199, above this line, that would be an early signal that buying strength is returning. However, if the stock start closing below 178.91 with increasing selling volume, that would indicate that the correction is likely continuing and the market will be downwards. All right, everyone, let's move on. Which stock would you like next? Type numbers again. 2 for Tesla, 3 for Apple, 4 for Meta, and 5 for any stock of your choice. I'm waiting for your reply, see what we get next. I think most of you are choosing Tesla. I see a lot of number 2s coming up. All right, let's move on to Tesla. Tesla has been under pressure, under notable pressure recently, and there are a few reasons behind the decline. First, we are seeing concerns about the slowdown in global EV demand, which raises questions about the sustainability of Tesla's growth over the next few quarters. Second, the company's ongoing price reduction designed to stay competitive are putting pressure on margins, and ongoing price reductions on investors are putting pressure on margins, and investors want clear signals that profitability will stabilize. On top of that, competition in the EV space continues to intensify, especially from China. BYD is taking over the market, looks like it, where several manufacturers are pushing aggressively into global markets. Now let's look at the chart. Tesla has dropped to $91, about $91, which is roughly 19% from its high on November 3rd. That the stock is still trading below the 410 level. A key support zone that has now turned into resistance. Recently, price made a modest bounce off the 100 EMA, but it wasn't strong enough to reclaim the 410 level, as you see in the chart. That tells us Tesla remains in a corrective phase. Until the stock can break back above the resistance, it will be difficult to confirm any meaningful trend reversal. All right, let's get your take. If you think Tesla will recover soon, type 1. If you think the decline may continue, type 2. What do you guys think will happen next in the market? I'll give you a second to think about it and give me your answers. Please type in the chat. Okay, here is something important for those tracking Tesla closely. if price continues to struggle below the level 410. Below 410, if the price struggles to go up from this point, the next major support I'll be watching is around 360 to 370, which aligns with the 200 EMA, a level that often acts as a major trend indicator. Also pay attention to volume around these support areas. When a stock approaches a key level with strong buying volume, that's usually the first sign of a potential reversal. But if Tesla keeps forming lower highs and doesn't show strong demand at support, the more conservative approach is to wait for a clear structural shift, something like a break above or previous high before considering a bullish position. All right, what stock would you like to analyze next? Type your choice. 3 for Apple, 4 for Meta, or 5 for any other stock you want to look at. I see a lot of 4s coming. Let's see how Meta looks like. Okay, let's take a look at it. I think Meta it is. Meta has pulled back mainly because of increased spendings on AI infrastructure, which has raised concern about short-term margins. At the same time, the stock had been on very strong multi-month rally, so some profit taking was expected. Technically, Meta has corrected approximately $211 or about 26% from its all-time high. Price is currently moving with a consolidation range, essentially a sideways trading phase, as the market reassesses valuation the further growth expectations. All right. Your turn again. If you expect Meta to recover from here, type 1. And if you think a decline may continue all the way lower, on type 2. I'm reading your chats. Let me know what you think. Okay, here is an important tip for analyzing Meta. Price recently failed to move higher from a head and shoulder pattern. From here, if you see the price failed and couldn't make it higher because of which is a bearish reversal formation. On top of that, Meta is now trending below the 200 EMA, indicating the stock is entering a mid-term downturn. Because of this, I expect price may revisit the key support area, maybe around 550, somewhere there, 540 to 560. Let's say like 550 will be the resisting area. Which how Meta behaves when it reaches that level. If buyer consistently step in and defend that zone, it could signal the beginning of a stabilization or even the continuation of the broader uptrend. But if price breaks below 550, which is strong with a strong volume, that would be an early warning sign that further downside is likely. So let's have a look at 550 closely as the market continues to see whether we'll hold 550 resistance or we'll go upper from there. And then we can have a look at Apple. Let's see how Apple's doing. Apple has been experiencing some pressure recently, mainly due to slower than expected iPhone sales in a few key markets and ongoing regulatory changes in both US and Europe. Even so, Apple's long-term fundamentals remain solid, but in the short term, the market has turned a bit more cautious as the company's growth rate begins to stabilize. From a technical standpoint, Apple is actually holding up better than the other major tech names we have discussed tonight. The stock has declined around $10, which is roughly only 4%, making it the strongest performing among the 4 that we analyze tonight. However, buyers still haven't stepped in aggressively, suggesting that the market is waiting for a clearer catalyst before committing to renewed upside. All right, quick poll for the chat. If you think Apple is ready for a rebound type 1, and if you expect further correction type 2, let me know what you think, please. I'll read your comments. Let's see both scenarios. Let me know if you think it's going upper or lower. Okay, now here is what's stand out on the chart. Apple is currently forming a double tap pattern, which is traditionally considered a bearish reversal setup. The neckline for this pattern sits around $265.99, $266. If price breaks below that level, it suggests the pattern is being confirmed and the stock could continue lower. This is definitely something we need to monitor closely. So this area we will monitor closely. Here are the key levels I'm watching. A break above 276.70 and a break below 265.99 would confirm the neckline of the double top and likely bearing price downtrend to the next support around 258, all the way somewhere here, which also aligns with the 50 EMA. And let's say if it goes above 276.70, would indicate the strength and open the door for a move higher. So we'll have a look closely on these two areas to see what is the next scenario that we are with Apple. And one more tip. When a strong long-term stock like Apple enters a pullback, watch the volume carefully. A decline on lower volume often indicates a healthy correction. But if you see heavy selling volume coming in, that increases the probability of a deeper move before stock stabilizes. All right, which stock would you like to look next? Type your choice. 1 for Nvidia, 2 for Tesla, 3 for Apple, 4 for Meta, or 5 for anything else. Please type so next time I'll know what you guys are interested to see on the charts and we analyze it together. All right, everyone, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up today's session. Across Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, and Meta, one thing is clear. These recent pullbacks don't necessarily mean the long-term story has changed. What we are seeing is a combination of extended multi-month advance, elevated market uncertainty, and shifting expectations around earnings and economic data. Corrections are a normal and healthy part of the market structure. Even the strongest stock need time to rest, shake out weak hands, and rebuild momentum. Thank you all for your votes, your comments, and the energy you brought to this stream today. These sessions are at their best when you participate. So I truly appreciate every one of you jumping in and giving me your ideas and comments. Before we close out, let's open the floor for a quick Q&A. So you can ask anything about chart questions, trend structure, EMA setups, support and resistance zone, or any stock you want a rapid read on. Drop your questions in the chat. I'll take as many as I can. I'm waiting for your questions. And as always, if you enjoyed today's breakdown, make sure to follow the channel and join our next live market recap. More analysis, more charts, and more opportunities to sharpen your trading skills together. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
I have two questions for you lah. They want me
Yeah.
to ask.
What is it?